Hello and welcome back to the Summoner's Guide to Final Fantasy XIV. After a lengthy hiatus, I'm going to try to get through this conversation while my dungeon gets ready to pop. Here we go. Anyway, as I was saying, after a lengthy hiatus, I finally decided to get back, thanks to one of the few but much appreciated people who actually watches these videos. There we go. Who asked me my opinions on the upcoming Endwalker expansion and reminded me that I have this series that I should probably record some more videos on. Thus, I am doing so. I'm going to start by focusing solely on the story dungeons, and then move on to the 24-man raids, and then finally the Shadow of Warlet fights. So this is the story dungeon for patch 5.1, the Grand Cosmos. This is a fun little dungeon. I haven't played it in a while, so I'm going to have to remind myself how some of this goes. And I'm going to get Grudy out. I've been mainly playing on my main and playing other games for the last number of months. But fortunately, as I also play Summoner on my main, this is just business as usual. Except I should be doing this, and I should do this, but I don't think I'm going to bother getting Bahamut out, as this is almost done. I'll save that summon for the next fight. These trash pulls at this point, with gear being what it is, are fairly simple. This is a nice, quick dungeon. This really was always a nice, quick dungeon. Trash pulls have never taken particularly long here. Alright, this first boss... switch back to Ifrit. There's a number of the brooms on the side. Why are we marking A and B? Okay, whatevs. They're giving helpful advice. This is good. They don't know that I already know this fight, and they're giving helpful advice. This is a good thing. I am very appreciative of it. But yes, I do know this fight, and yes, the brooms do go across the room, and you need to watch for that. Alright, so they're going to drop a bunch of these little puddles of ick. Then the brooms are going to start going across the room and sweeping up the puddles of ick. You don't want to be in their way, and you don't want to be anywhere near the puddles of ick when they sweep, or else you're going to get hit. So get over into a position where you're going to avoid the first broom as it passes, and then get into the spot for the rest of it. At the end of it, you're going to see a stack up, And that's basically... Oh, yeah, and then spread out. And that's really basically all you need to know in this fight. It's just going to be basically repeating these same mechanics for the remainder of the fight. So I just stand here and blast the guy until we see the next set of puddles. Alright, I'm gonna switch my way around here. And then I'm gonna come on around. There we go. And I am not being very efficient with my casting. Get into the middle of the stack. Then get ready to spread. And we're going to be done with this in a moment. Alright. Yuck, belts. I don't want belts. Rumor has it belts are going to be gone when Endwalker drops, so... Alright, next set of trash pulls, no harder than the last. Though you do need to be on your toes. Some of these guys will try to drop dots on you. Or not dots, but AoEs on you. I usually like to center my attacks on the Witchweed because it's the most powerful. Well, I, for whatever reason, didn't this time. I usually like to keep my focus on the most powerful one because the damage fall off. I want to do the most damage to the one with the most HP. This fall off will burn everything else. Careful, some of these guys will decide, especially the little lads, will decide to try to come up to you and drop a little cone AoE on you. You don't want that hitting you. There we go. Alright. I'm not sure why I didn't switch to Garuda for those fights. Not that it really matters at this gear level. Good advice. Keep seeds out of green squares. This is absolutely true. Second wave has wind, 1 square in the direction of the arrows. Good job. Thank you. That is a good way of explaining that fight. This tank is going to get my commendation. Even though she has no way of knowing. But I already know all this. The explanations are good and helpful nonetheless. Alright, so we should be seeing the seed drop in a moment. Alright, so I'm going to pick up the seed, and I'm going to drop it where the grass is not. If the seed grows, or if this cast gets done and there are seeds in the grass, they will bloom and form adds. You don't want that. It's not the end of the world, but it does prolong things a little bit. I've seen some groups just go ahead and ignore the seeds and just try to burn them with the boss, but most groups will actually attempt to do the mechanics on this fight, at least in my experience. Oh yeah, try to stay kind of mid-range, because you are going to get a donut AoE that you're going to have to deal with like that. And when you see those little overlapping AoEs and you're spread out, as a caster, try to get a little further away. I usually like kind of staying mid-range like this so I can react to whatever attacks she decides to throw at me. Alright, I would call forth Bahamut, but I'm going to watch for the seeds. Alright, I'm going to pick this seed up because I know the wind is going to blow it in that direction. So I'm going to put it here. It's going to blow it one square in that direction. And that's going to keep it out of the grass. And that's the important part, keeping it out of the grass. Oh, get out of that. Alright, now I'm going to do what I should have done. Alright, so there's that. Easy peasy. Alright, what goodies? More pelt of striking? Nah. If there's some caster gear that might be a good glamour for Violet, I might pick it up, but I have pretty good gear on her at this point. I went and bought a bunch of crafted gear so that she'd be, because it was actually relatively inexpensive, and it's going to keep her, it gets her well enough geared without me having to do a whole lot. Alright, so this one I find you really do have to worry about the Bellporxies and Paraporxies doing exactly what that one just did, trying to drop an AoE on you. So watch out. Even if you don't have aggro, these things are going to try to hurt you. Alright, that one's gonna go get the box. What do we got in the box? Ring of Aiming. Breaches of Maiming. Nope, sorry. Alright, this this trash pull is a little more complicated. Not much. So you're going to start with these 4 knights here, which are a little more beefy than the ads you've seen up to this point. And I'm going to actually remember to switch to Garuda. Yeah, and they are going to continue to do the, we don't care if you don't have aggro, we're going to drop a cone AoE on you anyway. Alright, I got Bahamut ready. I'm going to wait a few seconds on that, because these guys are almost down. I should be dropping my dot, so... There we go. Alright, when these 4 knights are down, you're going to see another set of ads there. Yeah, these guys have, I think, healing moves, the ones on the side, so it's usually try to focus them down first. The knight on the horse tends to be a little more robust, whereas these other 2 are fairly easily killed. So again, most groups that I see running this will try to take out the 2 weaker ads first. Which again, usually I focus on the strongest enemy and let the fall-off damage deal with the weaker ones. But this one has so much more health than the other 2 that it's probably better to just focus them down first. Switch back to Ifrit while I'm on off cooldown. Get that refreshed. Alright. It's boss time in a moment. There we go. choker of casting. I don't know what I have in terms of choker. Alright, our tank is probably going to provide me an explanation of this fight, so I'll watch the cutscene. Alright, big old fire dude. There's a lot going on in this fight, and I'll call it out as we go. Alright, do I have what I need? I've got Ifrit out. I will say, this guy's explanations are fantastic. I mean, you don't even have to listen to me, you just read what this guy's saying. I'm just gonna feign ignorance. All right. So yeah, this guy had a great explanation of this fight. If I didn't know how to do it, I would now. Alright, so this is how we're going to do it. I'm going to stand back here and pump this guy with everything. Oh crap, that was not... yeah. Okay, so I've made my first major mistake in this fight. Alright, otherworldly heat. I'm moving away. Yep, there we go. There we go. Yeah, so when you get targeted by that little thing up there, you need to pass it to something that's flammable. And you don't want anything else to hit something that's flammable, lest that will kill you. So whenever you get Mortal Flame, that little blue thing over your head, get to a flammable item. Alright, now, we're targeting people in order of swords. If you've seen Ravana's moves, it's very similar. He's going to come up here, do that, he's going to hit me with a cone. He's going to do that for every character. Normally, we'd worry about the curtains, but the curtains are already gone. Now, he's going to drop, using Culling Blade, he's going to drop a few chandeliers on the floor. You don't want to be standing over there, and you don't want to be standing... yeah, right here. It's a great place. Then get out of the way of those. That way the flames won't hit the chandeliers. You really don't want the flames to hit the chandeliers. He's going to do Mortal Flame a second time, pass it off to another item. And this is the last time he casts Mortal Flame, so you don't have to worry about it for the rest of the fight. Now it's just basically do everything else. Don't forget to refresh your dots. He's going to cast on the side of the sword, get to the other side. There we go. That's the one I always forget about, to be honest. Don't forget about it. Alright, so 1, he'll come over here and attack me. There's nothing for me to worry about over here. I think you also want to have a certain amount of distance away from him when he tethers you. It hits harder, I believe, when it's close. If the tether is thin and purple like that, it's going to be a less powerful attack than it... I think it's thicker if you're closer. There are several attacks that do that in this game. So just, you know, whenever you see that tether, you probably want to get distance away from your opponent. And again, at this point, placement of attacks no longer matters. You only see Mortal Flame twice. But you are going to have to worry about... Okay, he's on the other side, so I'm safe over here. Refresh my dots. It's not even gonna get to me. And I was nowhere near efficient in that fight, because I'm trying to talk. But that's how you do it. This boss is really one of the more complicated dungeon bosses in Shadowbringers, but as you can see, not terribly difficult. Ooh, a Cosmos Partition. That'll be fun if I can pull that. But I do want to commend that tank, because the tank gave some great... Ooh, a Jacket of Casting? I'll take that. And I'll get the Partition, too. I want to see what that looks like. But that will be for another time. In the meantime, I'm going to continue working on the story to unlock the next story dungeon. And until then, have a wonderful day.